The University of New Mexico is taking heat over its official seal.
And although eating disorders come in many forms, they're increasingly coming with other major health problems.
And one local startup has the state popping. I'm Addison Flores-Thorpe.
And I'm Michael Padilla, and this is UNM News.
UNM is feeling the heat of its colonial past, as members of the Red Nation and Kiva Club are campaigning to change the university's official seal. The groups say the current and former university seals represent a colonial perspective because they do not portray the contribution of indigenous people to the state and the university. Currently, diplomas and official documents and buildings use the seal that was created in 1969. It features a frontiersman and conquistador and has no symbol specifically referencing the region's indigenous cultures. UNM Policy Director Pamina Deutsch says any changes would have to be made by the Board of Regents.
There is a state statute that gives the regents the power to design a seal, to make a seal, and to use a seal. And there is a specific policy that relates to the use of the university's name and symbols.
Throughout the years, UNM has undergone 3 official seal changes. The current seal, used on diplomas and official documents, was recreated in 1969 and simplified from the complex 1928 version. The groups pressing for changes say this is just one aspect of a larger agenda to recognize the importance of indigenous history and culture.
Eating disorders and issues concerning food plague large portions of the culture, indigenous and otherwise, and dealing with these issues can be a challenge for both patients and healthcare providers. Allison Romero reports on a local healthcare center that offers treatment options for individuals with eating disorders and other mental health concerns.
According to 2011 statistics provided by the National Eating Disorders Association, about 10 million men and about 20 million women in the United States will suffer from an eating disorder at some point in their lives. However, what is rarely discussed is the trauma that accompanies the disorder.
If you ameliorated symptoms of the eating disorder, underneath was the trauma.
Clinical director and co-founder of Albuquerque's Eating Disorder Treatment Center, Holly Finlay has over 20 years' experience treating patients. During this time, she has witnessed patterns that have shaped the way she treats her clients.
Within the last 10 years, we've been seeing more and more of people who are what we call dual addicted, or they have a comorbidity, which means they're not only using their eating disorder behaviors to cope, but they're using heroin, they're using meth, they are alcoholic, they are smoking weed, they are doing any number of other kinds of substance use and other kinds of behaviors.
The Eating Disorder Treatment Center, or EDTC, offers common treatment options such as individual psychotherapy and nutritional counseling, as well as alternative methods like art and dance movement psychotherapy. A variety of treatment programs allow clients to be treated for multiple illnesses at one location.
What we've realized is we have to treat all of it because under one roof.
Finlay explained that her staff is trauma-informed. This means that clinicians are trained to address any experienced trauma in order to alleviate the symptoms of eating disorders as well as any comorbidities. By offering various forms of therapy and treatment options, EDTC seeks to create a compassionate environment and address the needs of all of their clients. This is Allison Romero reporting.
We are joined by Allison Romero, who reported on EDTC. Welcome, Allison.
Thank you.
So what's unique about this center that sets it apart from others in the area?
So EDTC, they have the first adolescent inpatient treatment for in the state. So before, what would happen is that if you had a severe eating disorder, they would send you out of state for hospitalization, and then you would just come home, and usually symptoms of the eating disorder would persist. So now, after they're being hospitalized, they're getting to stay at a facility, so they're able to continue their treatment.
So that's really good for them, for the patients. What kind of special training do clinicians have to deal with these specific patients?
So everyone that works there, including the clinicians that are all certified, of course, they focus on trauma-informed treatment. So what they're wanting to do is they want to address any trauma that may have happened or occurred, and then look at the eating disorder as a way to treat it. So they're having multiple levels of treatment.
What are some issues that arise in treating eating disorders?
So what frequently happens is comorbidity, which is essentially when you have an eating disorder but you also have another illness. So for example, you could have anorexia but also be depressed. So the most common ones are depression and anxiety and obsessive compulsive disorder, but it goes from anywhere to alcoholism to drug addiction as well.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Startup companies are popping up everywhere in Albuquerque. Corn is also popping up one New Mexico startup, the Cornivore Popcorn Company. Marino Spencer reports on how Robert Mendez and his family got the idea for their business.
Popcorn, a snack that comes with simple flavors like salt, caramel, or butter. But for Robert Mendez and his family, those flavors weren't enough.
One night we were trying to decide where we could get some green chili popcorn, and we couldn't find any. And we were like, we live in a state that has the best green chili, and we don't have a representative green chili popcorn, so we went out and made one.
Mendez says his popcorn recipes did well with others.
And everybody liked the flavor, and before you know it, people were giving us flavor ideas. And 35 flavors later, here we are.
So with this simple idea, Mendez and his family started their own business.
And the Cornivore Popcorn Company is basically a concept idea that we developed around our kitchen table.
And that one not-so-corny concept can bring multiple benefits to the state.
The idea of the Cornivore is to represent New Mexico flavor, but also give opportunities for New Mexicans to create an income opportunity for themselves.
Mendez says local startups like Cornivore provide New Mexicans with a homegrown opportunity.
We live in a state where we need to build small companies from the ground up here in our own communities. And in order to become economically sustainable, we need to make it so that people have jobs and people have somewhere to go to work and they can support their families.
Mendez and his family's search for green chili popcorn led to more than just a snack. That idea turned into the Cornivore Popcorn Company, and it's been popping and providing jobs since 2009. This is Marino Spencer reporting.
We're joined with Marino Spencer, who reported on this story. Hi, Marino. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, besides the flavors that were mentioned in the story, what other flavors does this company offer?
Well, the Cornivore has got some pretty interesting flavors. One that really stuck out to me was the Funky Monkey. It's a combination of banana and chocolate. There was also Bizcochito, red chili limon, some fruit flavors like blue raspberry, just a lot of flavors you wouldn't think about putting on popcorn.
And also, which flavors didn't make the cut?
One that really stuck out was Kool-Aid popcorn. I guess he described it as the most burnt and most bitter tasting popcorn you could ever have in your life.
And so how did you hear about this new startup company?
I was covering the Women in Technology conference back in March, and they were one of the sponsors there, and the name just really stuck out to me, the Cornivore.
All right, well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Wow, that makes me pretty hungry.
Yeah, some green chili popcorn sounds really tasty right now.
I'm Addison Flores-Thorpe.
And I'm Michael Padilla. Thank you for watching UNM News.